Hello?
Oh, hello there!
Hello? 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 Hello?
So I'm probably muted. But yeah, I hate the top. It's ugly. Basalt's okay, but it's not going to do for very long. So I need to put these things away and sort out some mining for more blackstone. I need more polished blackstone. So yeah. Hello, fantastic Sherlock Fox. How are you today? Excuse me, itchy. So yeah. And while we're doing it, of course, we squirrel. You know, that's how life goes. Golden carrot. I don't need a bed in the nether, so can skip that. I need those. I'm going to put them in here to remind me that's what I was working on. At least I think I could put them in there. Which pick? Efficiency, silk touch, mending. Okay, we're good. Okay, great. I can undo those. Let's leave that one alone. That's the fortune pick. Put this one in here in exchange for that one. Alright. So we're gonna go puttering around and get some more blackstone. Shouldn't take forever. Don't know how long, but it shouldn't take forever. And I forgot to measure up how much blackstone I used yesterday. Not blackstone, sorry, basalt I used yesterday on this project. So I guess we'll just have to wing it. This is the toolbox. Oh. Let's put the hoe away. The hoe doesn't belong here. There we go. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And what else? This one goes in there. I guess I can stack those. Oops, not rockets. Not rockets. Okay, and we're headed to... I'll need this one and that one. Come on, switch, please. Thank you. I want to put these things away so they don't get mashed. Okay, so let's put this one away because I might need it. And that can take some more junk. So let's take that. The other two are full of things that aren't so useful. Let's just take them, why not? Put them away. Make it look like we were never here, right? Is that how it works? Oops, nope. I need this. Speaking of which, do I have... I do have a spare shovel. Okay, we're good. Dad can just stay here. That'll be fine. So how is Springer Shadow today? It's been a slow day. I haven't done what I should because of several distractions. Yeah, I understand that. Nothing apart from housework. Ooh. As in what you managed to get done was the housework part, or what you got distracted from was the housework? Springer isn't doing the housework. Ah. Springer's on strike. Well, it happens. It happens. Okay. Wait a minute. One of the things we do need, if we're going nethering, is a pile of food. Where I could have sworn, there we go. I was gonna say, I could have sworn I had food. Where did I put the food? Better have some more somewhere. Yeah, I do have extras. In the emergency box and in the toolbox. Okay, we're good. We're good. Tidy up your desk and hit the Xbox keyboard accidentally. 2 hours later, should do some work. Hey Zerk, how are you doing? Oh look, there's Dell. Woo! Yeah, I'm one of those people, I'm like that a lot. This morning I made a point, I knew I was going to be close on my timings just because I wasn't feeling all 100%. And forgot to take headache meds, but that's okay, we'll get through. Suffice to say that I made a point this morning of not having my social media, phone near me. I'm one of those people that I take it to the washroom and I leave it on the counter by the sink while I do other things. Hello. Hey Tom. Hey Tom. Good to see you. I am being distracted-el today.
Hello.
Hello. Hey Creef. Look at this. What a surprise. Hello. Welcome on in, Raiders. Welcome, welcome. Hey Wolfen. Good to see you. Good to see all you fine folks. Uh-oh. My brain was saying there used to be a hole under the station, and then I do not see it.
Hello?
That'd be no good. That means I have to do stuff on foot. Are you kidding me? That's okay. We'll get there.
Hello?
Hello. Okay, so, Distracted Monkey.
Oh, hello
Let's
there.
say hi to everybody. And then we'll get back onto what we're up to. Let's see. Kick the Xbox. Okay, we got that far. Good morning, Mr. Poppins. You know, of all the combination of names you've had yesterday, if there's ever one that you would prefer I call you, let me know. I'm okay with this. Let's see. Double Parker, Sherlock Fox, no surprise. I'm pleased, but good morning. Let's see. Extra good morning to Grief, yes. Because I'm catching up, right? I don't always see you, so a bunch of good mornings all at once, or good days. Let's see. Good evening? There we go, that might work better. So, hey, Wolfen, good to see you. Hello, Stormy. Hope you're enjoying your day off. Hopefully it's not too crazy at your place. Okay. How was your stream and what were you working on, Tom? Fox, I was gonna say, you would know you're a sword in both places, man. Woohoo, Tom Raid! Hey, Mama Bear! Good to see you. Okay, I'm just about caught up to where I can see what's on my cheat screen. Scroll back some more. You missed the pool again. Oh, yeah. Well, we could always do another drop. It's not a big deal. Anytime you like, exclamation point, drop. Let's see. Hole is surrounded by torches. I think I just walked past it. So, yeah. Let's see. Fine morning. Yeah, I was thinking about you yesterday, Stormy. Oh, yeah, right. The Dad Rock Railroad. I was thinking about you, Stormy, yesterday. And I was like, does this mean that I am the farthest east person on the server? And sort of, maybe not. Depends on how active people are being lately. Because I think people were multi-basing with each other. The Twisted Ladder, okay, there we go. I have no real idea where I am in the Nether right now. I'm under spawn, that's all I can tell you. Dell's hole to the lower mess is quite a ways away. Ooh, I don't want to see that. Yeah. I know. I'll move. Move, guy, move. You don't move fast enough, and I don't want to hit you. I never thought I'd be chasing a Ziglin up the stairs. Anyway, what I was actually trying to be in here for was just going to find a spot for some blackstone mining. Although I will say near my own hole, there is a lot less chance of having things like that in my face. So which way is my own hole? East, and I'm moving west. How smart. Duh. How smart. Sarcasm intended, of course. Yeah, now I've got a portal to the lower section from inside my base, so I got James and crew to help me make sure that the two of them didn't link incorrectly. I just didn't go there because I was at spawn building a giant anvil, and I don't like the top of the anvil. That's why we're going mining. You know, what'd be really cool is if Minecraft could make it so that, like, the glowing sort of thing wouldn't show until you added redstone. I think that would be awesome, and then you could press buttons and make it light up the word itself. Go. Yeah, the whole end of the train station apparently wanted to gas me today, so okay, I'll use the other one. Or another one, I guess. There's a hole out by my old portal. There's a lot of old things about that. In theory, I could actually destroy anything I wanted under there? Yeah. I'm not bothered, it's not... I have so many offers, it's kind of funny. We're not going far. So we're home here. Now, map. There we go. I'll do it from the outside rather than the inside. Gotta have something interesting going on over by the yurt Wolfen built for me. Go. This is annoying to do on foot. No, it's kind of weird. You're baking pies this morning. Ooh. Yep, enjoy your lurky if you need to. Congratulations, Grief. Let's see, what did you use? Giant match. Ooh. Grief's on fire. Ads in about 2.5 minutes for those of you that get them. We're out of snoozes. There we go. Okay. So, this one. No, I don't want to see the roof. Stupid thing. Let's see. So this way. That's a fun way to get down there. Just drop in. It's only me who did that anyway. I have no idea where I'm going. Oh! Nope, not that way. Simply because I'm not in a ghast mood. Do I have a second direction that I got? Yep, I do. Excellent. Woo! At some point, we'll pause, and I've just seen a level adjustment on the screen, so take a look at the map and see what we've got. So as you guys are probably aware, I used to have 2 maps on here, and I had taken one of them off, because I realized it was kind of stupid to have 2 mapping mods, but now I keep hitting the wrong button, and or wishing I could see something that I'm not actually seeing. Okay, that's annoying. Maps. Cave mode. I want to see lower, please. Where are we? Rio. Where the heck am I now? That's the key. 41, and I'm getting lower, right? Yes. No, 30 something, I'm getting lower. Map. Cave mode. layered. Full. Off. Okay, it's layered. Where am I, though? That's the problem. There we go. Okay, so I'm in the tunnels. That's reasonable. We're in the tunnel zone. Like, where to mine today? This isn't all my mess. I just happen to have a portal that gets me close to a lot of the mess. So, I suppose over here might not be too bad. You can see somebody's been bed bombing. That's definitely not my style. Actually, maybe I should head south. South to southeast. Potentially just straight east. Let's see where it goes, but I'd figure out where I am to begin with. Which involves going down. Lots of down. Oh. And here's some of what I'm looking for. Let's make a mess out of it. I just need enough roof blocks back that I can actually get back up the stairs afterwards. This one. It feels weird that I'm not coming mining for netherite for a change. It's not that I don't care, but as we all know, it takes a heck of a lot more than it ever used to do just about anything, so I'm not too fussed by it. I'm just trying hard not to lose my existing netherite gear. Okay, let's see. Question of the day, what is an awful movie? I like some movies that a lot of people don't like, but whether or not they're classed as awful. Titanic. Can it be an awful movie if I love it? Well, see, your opinion of awful and someone else's opinion of awful might differ, right? Some people would say Titanic is an absolutely terrible movie, but then some people might like it because they may like DiCaprio's work. I don't. I think there's some interesting bits of story, but I'm more of a, what do you put it? A story behind the movie kind of person. Like, for example, I'm far more interested in the ridiculous quantity of money James Cameron spent to actually take an expedition out to the real Titanic wreckage, just so that he could get some shots and make sure that their CGI looked half decent. So yeah, that's kind of the thing I'm more interested in. When the original Titanic wreckage was found, my parents, like, it was all over the news and stuff, my parents woke me up and got me out of bed for that. Oddball parents. Okay. Back this way. I'm pretty sure I will not find my way back. Where are we here? Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna find my way back regardless of what we do. You should end up in the wrong spot. I'm just gonna write this down. Wrong book. Is that the modded one or the Java one? That's the Java one. Okay. So I'm at 168, 1241. Perfect. Okay. Close enough. And I've already got a stack of what we came for in the first place. That's handy. So I may not need to go very far. We'll see. Ooh, yes, I really hated that. The book was good, the story was good, but the movie Johnny Mnemonic was terrible. Hey, Scrublord! Let's actually see if they pop up. What awful movie do you love? Yes, you're right. Okay. I didn't think about that. So where is Minnie? There we go. Now, where do I want to go? East-ish? Let's see if I can figure out my way out this way. East. Sort of. Figure out what on earth is between myself and Stormy Owl's base. Because I've never actually been out there. In the Nether, that is. Ooh. Nope, nope, nope. Not going that way. Hello. I can tell some of these are mine. Like some of these mining spots are mine when I just stop because I'm one of those weirdos who puts a torch at the end of the row. So I often have a way of looking at it around me, like beside me. And then when you're in the Nether, it's like, well, why are you putting down a torch? Most of the stuff in the Nether doesn't care about lighting levels. And so my brain goes, oh, yeah, that's because it's a reminder, sort of like a don't go here thing. In an overworld, the reason that works for me is in an overworld sense. If I'm putting out, or if I'm going to dig a torch out, as in dig it away, then I realize that the place is going to get dark. If that makes any sense? So by putting it straight in front of me, meaning to progress forward, I'd actually have to take the torch away. I know I only do, like, put them straight in front of me like that when I have a reason to. So that's why that works. Island, there's so much campiness in that movie, but I love it. You know, the first one, for its time, wasn't super campy. But the fact that they actually bothered to have sequels, that was terrible. It's like, you've already got an excuse. There can be only one, and yet you have more movies to once again have more of them. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Okay. East. I am terrible once again. They put everything. Yeah, there should be only one. Highlander's one of those movies where there should be only one. Exactly. Okay. You could tell people were not here for the Blackstone. Hello. Yeah, I can't remember. I lost my train of thought. That's okay. For those of you that have had the unfortunate joy of having me on mute when I'm not supposed to be, we have Fantastic Show Fox and I have not yet coordinated to get a public command for everybody to run that lets me know I'm on mute in some sort of ridiculous way. But you guys might want to have a look at the free stickers, because I've thrown a You're on Mute sticker with a sound up. So that's one of those free ones you can put up. I've also, aw, hey, you punk. Thief. I'm glad that actually wasn't, like, netherite scrap or something. I'd be kind of annoyed if little dude stole that. Anyway, but there's a free sticker there. I've also put up a facepalm as a sticker. It's the usual one. They may get replaced as I get the emotes replaced, but because people seem to enjoy the pipe sticker with a cute little sheep on it, not the toque-looking one, but the other one, my daughter has agreed that she will do some more of my emotes, because she really enjoys doing that sort of thing. Problem is, of course, timeline. You know, kids in school, and she's got other priorities right now. Although, weirdly enough, Rainbow Loom is one of her priorities. Just odd. Come on, east. Uh-huh. That was a bit of a fail on my part. How far can we reach? Oh, come on, not again. One of those ones. Is it just a fall, or is there actually something to it? Okay. Nope, I do want those. Let's move the rockets, because I should not actually have those out. There. So I'm below what I want it to be in. Okay. Clearly, I'm obviously missing the point in these tunnels. Excuse me, sir. Well, now, weird game. Now it lets me walk through him where it did not before. Having a My Puppy Taylor flashback. Just when I very first started watching that My Puppy Taylor streams, she was mining for netherite by doing a big horizontal layer strip out. But like one layer of Y. And only enough punch throughs to get herself where she could reach them. Like reach the blocks coming down. That was it. Which, frankly, drives me crazy. Not because of despawn purposes or anything like that, it's more like, I want to go and walk right at the block, thank you. But hey. Whoops. Okay, Delenn, don't get yourself dead, because... yeah, we're not wearing a whole lot of fire protection here. I can hear it. Start by eating. I think that's all I'm going to take from this spot, just because I'm a chicken and there's lots around. I don't need tons, right? There we go. See? This might have been a better spot in the first place. Any move in the Aliens franchise after the second one? So you liked Alien and Aliens, but the ones beyond that were terrible? Is that what you're saying, Fantastic Sherlock Fox? I mean, it's interesting that people say, you know, there's terrible movies, because there's something to be said for B movies. And what's interesting is that, depending on how you define a B movie, there were some that were intentionally made to be B movies. That's kind of the point. Like we'll say, you know, Ed Wood. But there's also... oh, there we go. There's also movies that everybody would swear they started out as intending to be an A-list flick, but ended up being so terrible that B-list is optimistic. And then there's just corny junk movies like Mars Attacks. I've seen it twice, and first time I thought, okay, maybe if I see it a second time I won't hate it as much. No. Nope. I like old campy sci-fi when people kind of thought aliens really looked like that, but when it's purposely modern stuff mocking that, it didn't come across very well. Yeah. Who doesn't love a Scotsman playing an Egyptian, a Belgian playing a Scotsman, and a Clancy Brown playing the bad guy? Yeah. That's a very, very good point. I missed a comment from Max that obviously is key here. Yeah, the show was better. For Highlander, that is, sorry. Backing that up. You try to miss so much. They like Aliens the most. Weirdly enough, Aliens, plural, which I think is the second one, was my introduction to the franchise, just due to release dates. I think my dad probably saw Alien before Aliens, but I remember him having a VHS tape of Aliens, and so, yeah. I grew up not liking the facehugger, but very familiar with it. We had a good chuckle, actually. My family and I had a bit of a good chuckle when, during COVID, my brother was wearing, you know, safe level masks and stuff, but I don't know whether he had one or whether he just sent me the picture. But I've seen different ones where people, had made beards or whatever to cover the mask. Silly things like that. And there was one with a face hugger crocheted to go over top of the COVID mask. And I thought, that would be hilarious at Halloween. When people started to go out, provided they were masked. Sort of thing. It was kind of amusing. But I don't think he actually worked for that. Let's see, what other... Well, here's the funny thing, Max. They have, not in those movies though, but they have cast Connery as a Scotsman in different things. But when they do, they want him to put on a completely different Scottish accent than the one he has. So I think his, if I remember correctly, his is closer to an Edinburgh type accent. And people keep wanting him to put on a thick Glaswegian. And it's like, no, that's very ridiculous. But apparently people in Edinburgh sound too much like Northern England. So they have to pick the land of far away Scotland. Which is funny because sometimes the farther away, the more a Scotsman starts to sound like an Irishman, even though they're not actually geographically close to each other. Had, unfortunately. I'm quite a Connery fan, and, yeah. I mean, as for one of those bad movies you love to hate, didn't he do, Dragonheart or something like that? Where he played the dragon? And that was a terrible movie as well. I'm trying to think... I think the only movie with him that I really like that's recent was Entrapment, I think. Yeah. If I remember correctly, I think Entrapment was the one I liked. That's the one with Catherine Zeta-Jones, isn't it? I wasn't a huge Catherine Zeta-Jones fan for a long, long time. And then I saw Chicago. And went, ooh! And then, after that, decided I liked a lot of her films. Cool!
Hello.
So the poor poodle pirate's pet spur has gotten too long. I'm curious, Poodle. I know you're taking the dog to the beauty shop, so if you don't have the chance to answer, that's fine. Maybe when you get back. Let me know, are you one that gets the dog's fur clipped, or do you go with the full stereotype poodle shave look? I'm curious about that one. You had a poodle cross growing up, and some groomers would insist on giving them the full shave, even though because of the cross that looked terrible. And other times, we just got it clipped short. Pink fur? No. Heavens. Eek. Pink ladies look. Yeah. Edie Conn looked absolutely dreadful with pink hair in Grease. Some people say Grease is a terrible movie, and frankly, it was. But then again, a lot of the time, doing a movie based on a musical is going to turn out terrible. Musicals should not be movies, and vice versa. And that includes the craziness that is High School Musical. I'm not a fan of that particular one, in case you guys hadn't figured it out. We'll see what I think of Hadestown tonight. I'm going to go... That's why I'm not streaming this evening, is we have a Broadway Across Canada traveling program, and I've got season tickets, so we're going to go see a Broadway presentation tonight. And yeah, tonight's is Hadestown, which I do not know anything about. So hopefully it will be good. I don't know. I haven't the foggiest. I haven't even looked up the premise of the storyline. Probably do that before we go, because the little synopsis they give you in the program usually doesn't tell you much of anything. He's short all over. Yeah, shave the feet to keep them clean. That makes sense. So you didn't do the sweatband poof thing? Some of them look like they have like 80s wrist sweatbands around the dog's feet. I know we're not talking Disney, They take everything to extremes in the cartoons. Okay, well, I guess I won't be going up there because clearly I don't need a lava bath. See, how close are we to going east? Oh, nope, gotta go north first. Okay, that's fine. You don't do the puffball things? Thank you. Spicy orange juice. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. We let our dog get fairly shaggy when she was old, like older. The first dog, the one I had growing up, little mix. We let her get a little shaggy when she was older, but part of it was because at that point she was losing a lot of her vision, so she would freak out at the groomers far more than she ever used to when she was younger. And we just figured, you know, she didn't freak out from a brush, so we would just deal with it. It wasn't great, but it did the trick. And because her vision was getting older, she got to be more timid about a lot of things. Because her vision was getting worse as she got older, she got more timid about a lot of things, so we actually had less mud to worry about than we did when she was younger. But oh my goodness, she used to be quite the zoomies through mud kind of dog. But one of those ones that would run around all over the place. And the wetter and muddier it was, the more she enjoyed it. Even though she knew she didn't want a bath afterwards, and there was always the bath to have. But Toby's pretty shaggy right now. I mean, hey, it's a seasonal thing, right? This is probably the last one you'll get till spring. And it's kind of like humans. We all need a haircut. I shouldn't say all. A lot of us need a haircut or a trip to the salon or whatever before Christmas, so we look half decent till, I don't know, New Year's or whatever. Some people are in that stage where they're getting sick and tired of their Movember locks. Our house doesn't participate in the Movember thing. I mean, like, we donate to people who are doing that sort of thing. But we don't really participate much. I don't think we donated to my brother this year, because I don't think he's doing Movember this time around. Some of the family got a little bit jaded over donating to his Movember campaign when we found out that he started it as an excuse to not have to shave, just because he didn't want to. And his wife was not too impressed when she found that out, so yeah. We just kind of went, uh-huh, you first, sort of thing. But, I mean, still family-friendly, but kind of gross. I used to know someone through scouting, not with my group, but used to know them through scouting, who did the Movember thing, except that they were a lady, and how they did the Movember was they went Scandinavian and didn't shave their armpits. I thought, that's disgusting. That's totally gross. I can't do that. Yeah, and that was their thing, and it's like, could you please just, you know, find somebody you like and donate to them instead? Just let's just leave it at that, because that was kind of gross. Okay, where am I? So I'm in near somebody's bed bombing zone. But I guess if I could find the bottom corner here and then go south, then we're into the territory we want. Nope, exactly. Exactly. Okay. So back on a brighter note, that's not quite so weird. We were talking about gross or awful movies you love. Is there one that was intentionally terrible, so done as a B movie, that anybody likes? Another angle on this that I'll also be curious about. Are there any kids movies that it would be your guilty pleasure as an adult? The reason I'm bringing that up under awful movies is, frankly, by adult standards, kids movies are frequently very awful. They're great for kids, but they're terrible for adults. I'm running around at 13, so let's change this cave mode. Where is it that the lava starts coming in? 20. Okay, so I'm at 13. I'm standing. 14 is there. 15 is my head. Okay, that's probably reasonable. I'm not sure I ended up in manual cave mode on the minimap. No idea, but I'm just gonna leave it. It's not a bad movie, not at all. I would say, yeah, I was wondering if you would mention that one. I think it was well done, but did not need to be redone as a live action. Let's put it that way. But, for some reason, the scouters the scout leaders at our group, a lot of them quite like the Minions series of movies. And I would say those were intentionally terrible. They're terrible for kids, they're terrible for adults, and they drive adults crazy when the kids quote it. You know, sometimes I wonder when Disney redoes things as live action, sometimes I wonder if A, they want to show, hey, we've got the bucks to do CGI, and sometimes I also wonder if they want to get back to the idea that live action movies aren't all from their, Miramax and whatever, which were generally, as my parents used to call them, it was the more scary line. And they wanted to point out that adult movies don't have to all be scary. But, I think they might be better off taking the opposite tactic and trying to do an animated movie where, for once, it makes very little sense to the kids, but is more aimed at adults. That doesn't have to be adult content, per se, in terms of, all the things that the ratings get messed up on. But just talk about something more serious. I don't know, I know it sounds dumb, but can you imagine a straight-up animated, it's non-Disney, but a straight-up animated version of, say, You've Got Mail? That was not aimed or targeted at kids, but if you just had done all that purely in animation, I wonder what would have happened. It probably would have flopped at the box office. I guess, though, I sometimes wonder, live-action Disney movies to me should be something more like the Apple Dumpling Gang. Are those your I should say soft spot, Zerk? Don Knotts. Oh, well, actually, generally, I love that crew. I miss the variety sketch type of stuff. This is why I like old Carol Burnett and so on. So yeah, harkening back to last season where I went on and on about Carol Burnett's shows repeatedly. I think I got all the blackstone out of this zone. Let's keep going. If you want a silly one that's kind of fun, and it's still very silly, but it's Disney, is check out The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. I like that one. It's one of those fake haunting movies. What I mean is the local paranormal society thinks a particular house is haunted because they're just nuts that way. And so Don Knotts, he's actually called Mr. Chicken. That's his name. He is assigned by the town newspaper to go and try and investigate by spending the night at the supposedly haunted house. So he does, and what he actually finds and doesn't realize for the longest time, things are behaving haunted and it's meant to scare people away. What it actually is, of course, is the wrong people want the deed to the house, and so they're trying to scare everybody away so they can get it, and it's just that sort of thing. But it's got your standard set of bookcase doors and creepy organ and that kind of stuff. But it's a total lark. And Don Knotts does a very, very good job of looking scared. He's just one of those guys that's got the eyes that bulge out in a way that make you, and the body language that really works for that sort of movie. Which one? Oh, The Lion King, yeah. Yes, we did. We did indeed, Springer Shadow. So we... Fantastic Sherlock Fox and I actually really started dating and being friends and whatever after long conversations, but we didn't actually do a whole lot of dating. And he, at one point, here's the story. He needed a lift home from the airport from like a business trip, and so I offered to give him a lift home. And we were just friends by that point, like just talking and stuff, because we had a lot of the same friends. Basically what happened was I was in a special program in junior high for smart kids, and so a lot of those smart kids went on to be in the same high school that Fantastic Sherlock Fox was in. And he was taking the International Baccalaureate program, so that makes more sense why a lot of smart kids went there. Long story made short on that one was, so we had a lot of the same friends, and so we were friends first, and he needed a lift home from the airport at one point, and I said, okay, sure, I'll do that, yeah, no problem, and we'll go. Blind King's back in town, I know you're a fan, I'm a fan, let's go and see that. We were supposed to maybe go get fast food or something and then go see the movie. Well, we didn't make it out of the airport before I was snogging, so yeah. There's another silly one that's just totally funny. Pixar has so many good kids movies. You're right. Pixar does them at sort of a double level. And it's not necessarily a double entendre type of stuff. It's just, there's things that the kids just don't get due to lack of life experience. And sometimes it's just a lack of knowledge of pop culture. Think I got that? Okay. Goonies is one of the weirdest films ever. Oh, totally. Totally not PC by today's standards. Certainly. I mean, if you think about it, Goonies was sort of one of those ones where kids in the movies, in that movie, got to do what kids fantasize about doing, right? They fantasize about being pirates or fantasize about finding treasure and stuff. And yet they had to have really hokey villains. In a almost throw mama from the train level of weird. Where am I? I'm getting lost. That's okay. We're getting what we need. And I probably have far more than I need. I keep saying, we'll finish off, but we will finish off the space that's in my inventory right now, and then we'll try and find our way out. I never did make it to Stormy's. That's okay. I know I've got plenty of spaces I could go in the future. Oops. Nah. Let's find a proper hole. Or make up a hole. That'll work too. Right, when you need a hole, make one. Hello, sir. Stormy's raid farm, Stormy. It's okay. I don't need to be here, do I? Nope, I don't need to be here. Go west, young man. Or old woman, your choice. Either way, go west. Basically, I'm looking at traversing old hallways. Because so much of the Blackstone was just left behind. On the bright side, if I dig down, I'm less likely to find lava, right? Rather than up. Go. Yes, totally agreed. Oh, whoops. Aw. There's a lot that's not PC about it, but there's some that I really liked about the Goonies in that very same respect, Springer, is that, yes, there's a lot of things to be hidden they talk about, or, as you say, shaming and stuff. But there's also a bit of the other side of it where they're saying, you know, people like that can still do things too. They all had their important special moments. I mean, for the same reason, I like Hook. I like the movie Hook quite a lot with Robin Williams. But there's even stuff like that in that movie where they're making fun of the pudgier kid and stuff like that. I mean, there's sort of stereotype jokes about the pudgier kid sitting down on the bench and everybody sliding towards him. He's like, don't crowd me! Well, they're not trying to. But everybody's got a great sort of a you can do it moment. So, I mean, it is a little bit non-PC now in the way that stuff like that is done, because... Ooh, is that getting a little too low? Because, I mean, they make some of those kids out to be heroes, except that they shouldn't have to if people didn't shame each other for various things like that, for being different in any way, shape, or form. Then, sometimes I wonder what Hollywood would have left. And I don't think it's right to do it, but I wonder what they would have left, because they spent so much time and energy on those types of focuses, PC or not. There's a lot of good books and a lot of good scripts that probably get passed up just because they've got things that Hollywood doesn't want to show. Even if they should, they don't want to. I will admit I never saw MASH the film. I quite enjoyed MASH the TV series, but I never actually saw MASH the film. Come on. Where's that? Oh. Okay, it's a bit of a bigger problem than I thought. That could be why I never saw it. And the funny thing is, it's an age thing, in that some of the stuff I wouldn't have got, because I only ever saw MASH on reruns. And so it's a whole different vibe for people who lived through that era. But I find the TV series was actually a really interesting experiment in human psychology. Ooh. Okay, good to know. But it was interesting because they tried to lighten the mood, you know, as appropriate for a comedy. And yet, initially, they had laugh tracks in all the wrong places. Like, there's surgery scenes where they're still telling jokes, and I sort of wonder if that's partly, as I say, partly to lighten the mood, and partly, I got the impression at times that it felt like the MASH TV series was riffing a bit on the Muppets when you've got the veterinarian's hospital, or that was riffing on MASH. It's hard to say. But I got the impression the two were riffing on each other. But I'd heard that they tested this TV series with laugh tracks all throughout the joke zones, regardless of what was going on the screen anyway, and that really didn't sit well with audiences, so they took them out, but still have the jokes in that part of the story. And it was an interesting artistic choice to keep those in. Or choice, because, you know, you gotta lighten the mood sometimes. and yet at the same time, it isn't funny to laugh at. So, yeah. I actually really quite like learning about the behind-the-scenes part of the physicalness of film production. I'm a huge fan of... I used to be... Actually, let me put this way. I used to be a huge fan of learning about movie practical effects and early special effects. So when they do a practical effect, so that's what they call it, when it's not all CGI or done afterwards, it's done during the film. I really quite like learning about the practical effects stuff. The things that, like props and such, is kind of a neat one. Things like learning about how Star Wars did the original lightsabers. Right? That they were based off of, quite literally, fencing with what was in the day clear acrylic rods. And then the poor, I feel sorry for the people after the fact, like who were putting the film together, because then the poor guys in the studio, like the behind the scenes staffers, had to go and trace every single stinking frame of the film, trying, like, finding these rods and trying to make the amount of glow appropriate for whatever angle the rod was facing at. Which is, I mean, this is where the human error inconsistencies come in. People are like, oh, that looks so ridiculous and it's not believable. Would you have wanted to be the guy who just sit there for hundreds of hours just tracing glow sticks? Like, I give them some sort of credit for the effort put in. At the same time, the practical effect part of things like matte paintings really impressed me, and that was used a fair bit in a lot of Disney works. Easily most notable, or easy to pick out, I should say, is Mary Poppins. Like for scenes of floating over London and stuff like that, and some of the distance shots, is the idea of blocking out part of the camera and filming the footage, and then filming a still painting that had a hole in it. Or sometimes even filming right through the hole in the painting to be able to get the look of what was going on. So, for example, there's one where matte paintings were used in Mary Poppins for scenes where the group of actors is standing on a rooftop looking out over London, and they're just in the corner of the shot, but the lookout over London at the time, of course, because it's period piece or whatever, that part's all a painting. But they managed to blend it in well enough that it looked good. And then another section where Mary Poppins is sitting on a cloud and she's mucking around with her makeup. That section was done with a painting, but rather than blacking out part of the lens and filming separately and whatever, they actually quite literally lined up the camera and the actress so that they shot the painting and the actress at the same time through the hole in the painting. And these things would be painted on glass, so it's pretty cool. Rotoscoping is a really interesting technique. They've been using that for a long time. Basically, it's been replaced by modern motion capture, which are the ones you see with suits with dots and stuff on them, or actors who are doing things with a whole bunch of facial dots stuck to their face, and so that they can use their facial expressions for animated things afterwards. So, weirdly, rotoscoping was actually used in the first Disney animated feature film of Snow White. The gal doing Snow White, when there were scenes for sort of dancing around like the early part of the Snow White scene, you can see Snow White sort of hanging out and dancing around a well, singing about someday her prince will come, kind of thing. And that actually had the actress who played Snow White, quite literally, going around a well. And they filmed that on film, and then the poor animators got to trace that, and then fill in the rest of the stuff from that. Which, I mean, I guess that works for human characters. It looks ridiculous sometimes when they do old-fashioned rotoscoping for animated characters. The more modern motion capture is a bit better. An example of that would be when Benedict Cumberbatch got rotoscoped, or mocapped I should say, for playing a dragon because they wanted to use some of his features on the dragon. That said, if you consider how much time is consumed and how challenging it can be to properly pick up on rotoscoping, let's say Tron was another one where they did a lot of that, then it really impresses me how much an animated character can look like the actor or actress playing it when they're not rotoscoping. I find that impressive as well. A couple of good examples of that one would be in Alice in Wonderland from Disney, of course. They have the Mad Hatter, who really does look like the comedian Ed Wynn. If anybody has no clue who Ed Wynn is, and not only is he a comedian, but he did the Mad Hatter, and that was sort of his first foray for Disney. But then he also played Uncle Albert in Mary Poppins. And he used to be on things like Sid Caesar's Comedy Hour and Your Show of Shows and that sort of jazz. A more modern example that might ring in people's memory would be animated version of Mrs. Potts for the first round of Beauty and the Beast. That actually really quite does look like Angela Lansbury. And they spent, apparently there's over 150 hours of just having her do her voicing stuff and for the character while the animator sat in the corner just doing sketch after sketch after sketch to try and figure out what the look should be. And if you want, but comparison, if you take a look at CGI with the motion capture stuff, when they did the live action version of Beauty and the Beast, the teapot was played by Emma Thompson. And although there is elements of Emma there, I would personally say that it does not look to me anywhere near as actress-ish, like as much like her as the animated one had looked like Lansbury. Now I'm biased because Lansbury has a very, had a very notable set of features, particularly back then. So it was a little bit, I would say, a little bit easier to do. Not such a narrow. I don't want to say featureless, but there's far more straight lines in Emma's features than there is in Lansbury's features. Yeah. Well, one of the things that happened by the time Empire Strikes Back came out, Max, as far as I know, because I was doing it, is they still had guys that had to go in and copy it, but yeah, they tried to use just the reflective in more places because apparently the staff had complained after the first movie that it was just really hard to see purely the plastic sticks. So they tried to get them more reflective in the second one, but then on a frame-by-frame basis, you wouldn't necessarily notice the differences if that's your job. Then when you get them going into the more motion-filled portion, like the original portion, then they have much more flickery look. Apparently Lucas liked that for two reasons. One, it fit the budget better because you didn't have to spend as many hours paying staff to trace them. But the other reason was he had felt that in the first Star Wars, the blades were too steady. He said, yes, they're run by a crystal, but there's a crystal in with other electronic parts, like a motor of sorts. So you'd actually have to... He was looking at it in terms of electronics, like when you, say you use a strobe light, and you pass your hand back and forth in front of the strobe light, you can start to see like an arc of your hand, just the way your brain processes. And so he was trying to take advantage of that in Empire, because it was a little bit cheaper. And it flickered a little too much. So... yeah, there were studio arguments by the time it came to Return that they weren't really sure how they were going to do that, which is part of the reason why technically in Return of the Jedi you see far fewer minutes of lightsabers on screen compared to the previous films, because studios were having arguments over how much budget they were going to spend and which method they were going to use to try and trace the lightsabers. This one is not, how do I put it? I have a thing for well, we talked about magic, as in magicians and such. You guys are aware of that, you know, old news. But part of the reason for that commentary and the long-winded blah 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 on, yeah, definitely they were spinning to try and get them to reflect correctly, exactly. Part of the reason you get so much blah 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 on that one is that because of an interest in magic, I actually did a school project in grade 9. We got to study generally whatever we wanted for this one particular topic. We had to do sort of like it was like an introduction to public speaking seminar type of thing in our humanities class. Smart kids get given all kinds of stupid projects. Anyway, so the part of that story was to say that so my topic had become movie magic and movie productions. So not magic in the movies, but as in how they create the magic of the movies. So ILM was a huge focus, and I don't remember what other studio it was at the time. MGM had a competing one. It wasn't as good, frankly. And then we didn't talk too much about Disney other than the fact that the animators and Imagineers will often back in the day would have often collaborated on a film, so that when they did a mixed media film that had live and animated, that they would try and do as much of the effects in a practical way rather than just in a drawn-on way. And that made it easier for the animators because they didn't have to worry about drawing in what was going on. And it made it easier for the actors, of course, because they had something physical to react to. Which is part of why you see things like Who Framed Roger Rabbit working as well as it does, as campy as it is, because they were able to put together stand-ins for, like, mechanical stand-ins that the animators actually ran during the movie filming, so that the actors had something they could respond to. It was kind of neat. And which makes me more impressed with the actors in that movie than I would have been otherwise. I know it sounds funny, but I mean, they didn't have to play alongside a real character any more than Dick Van Dyke did in Mary Poppins. But for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I don't know about you. Oh, whoops. Replacing at 10, but you kind of can't. I don't know about you, but I would not be happy putting up with, say, a big mechanical thing shoved up under my jacket and me having to try to act with this thing there as though it wasn't really annoying the heck out of me. So I thought that was kind of neat. But I mean, that's another one of those neat ones where they did that in multiple stages. So one of those what you didn't know things, or what you probably knew, but what you didn't get to see as a viewer, was that Who Framed was done in 3 stages. So they had of course they had the mechanicals with the actors, and then of course they had to have the animation stuff that was purely animation. But for the characters that were going to be mixed with the actors, far more than the Disney ones, like the standard Disney ones that show up towards the end, the ones that were going to be with the actors were actually rotoscoped. So somebody, I can't remember who the actor was at the moment, sorry, apologies, but Roger was actually cast with a very physical comedy actor, because that way they could actually have somebody to physically act the character, and then they rotoscoped him, which was really kind of cool. Expensive, but cool. Is this me? I think this is me. Oops. This way. Yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a neat one. I was under the impression that part of the reason they took a lot of that reference out of the Disney parks it used to be there, Toontown, Spin, and the Fantasyland and stuff, was because of the argument that some of the company made. Because of the argument that some of the company made that animated stuff in Fantasyland should be exclusively family friendly. I don't know what to think of that. I suppose they have a point. Yeah. I suppose they have a point. But parts of Roger Rabbit are certainly not super family friendly. I mean, hey, Jessica Rabbit, enough said. But that's one of those ones that, frankly, I wish more films like that would return. Because to a kid, patty cake is incredibly innocent. To an adult, in the way that the context was used in Roger Rabbit, patty cake is incredibly not innocent. So yeah. But it was that sort of pushback. I mean, it's in a way removing Toontown from Disneyland's Fantasyland, for example, was the early stage of when people complain these days about the Pirates of the Caribbean removing the redhead and making everything politically correct about the ladies and stuff in Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a modern version of that. Anyway. Yeah. It's one thing I would like to see more of. Now, maybe you guys would know of one? I can't think of one at the top of my head, but I'm curious, can anybody think of any more modern than, say, Mary Poppins or whatever, or Roger Rabbit, mixes of animation and live action? I'm sure there's probably some out there that I'm just not thinking of. One of the things that irks me a lot these days is that so many of the animated movies, frankly, are so bad, and they get away with it by being stereotypically animations for kids. Exception being, unless we're talking like anime. So Miyazaki films like Spirited Away or something like that. But for the most part, people say, oh, animated picture, must be for kids. I'll take my kids. Cool World, yes. Although, you're right. And at the same time, oh my goodness. Cool World, I forgot that Brad Pitt was in that. That falls on my terrible movies list. Not on the terrible movies list of movies I liked, though, unfortunately. Come on. Yeah. Okay. I'm going the wrong way. I need to get to 168, 1241 because my inventory is full. Right? Okay. I need to stop squirreling. Like that's ever gonna happen. This way. Hey Terry Darts, how are you doing today? Good to see you. So Geek Out has become Pop Culture Party, movie category, how appropriate. 6 animated films released before 1990. That meshes really, really well with where we're chattering about. You keep weird hours, Terry Darts. I mean, come on, I was watching Dadcraft last night and you were still live. Like, not live, but like awake. Okay, what was it? 162 and 41. I'm glad to see you. Thank you very, very much. And 41. 41 should be that way, so I need to go up here. I'm just going sideways because I can, I guess. $47, $41. This is what I'm looking for. This is going to be old Disney films. Oops. This is going to be old Disney films, isn't it? Before 1990, yeah, probably. But depends on your definition of old. I mean, yes, you can cover really, really old ones. I'm sure I could probably rattle off a few. There's always your standard set. But here's the thing. Before 1990 can also include Pixar. Oh no, it can't, actually. I don't remember if they owned them before 1990. No problem. Thank you very, very much for coming by, Max. I'm not actually streaming tonight. I have a Broadway show to go to, but I will be back on this slot tomorrow, for sure. For sure and for certain. And, I will be around... Oh, actually, I won't be around for DC stream either. That just occurred to me. Right, that's why I didn't want to be here. Okay. But thank you for asking, Max. I do appreciate that. Yeah, so I will not be streaming tonight. I did catch the 2 notifiers on the page, meaning I used the Twitch cancel thing, and then I also... hello? Excuse me. Oh, rude. I did catch the Twitch cancel thing, and I did catch the Streamlabs panel cancel, but I hadn't made a big deal out of it, and I probably should have in Discord, so I'll do that. Yes. Yes, that's true. And I mean, we probably got before 1990. I was gonna say Lion King would fall on that, but I can't recall. I mean, there's also, if you want mixed, another good mixed one is Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. We've also got easy ones. I shouldn't say easy, but we've got things like The Black Cauldron and yeah, I think I said Bed Knobs and Broomsticks already. Robin Hood. Oh. Fox and the Hound, I think, qualifies in there. When I was quite young, we saw Oliver and Company, so I don't know if that's pre-1990 or not. That could have been in my teen years. Animated Hobbit. Yes. That's definitely pre-1990. I keep forgetting because my brain just wants to run through Disney, but there are plenty of other companies that did that. And non-Disney is the challenge, exactly. Which, the longest time, I didn't think that Roger Rabbit was a Disney flick, but it is. Secret of Nim, I think, would qualify in that respect. Snow White, Jungle Book, Cinderella, Pinocchio, yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. I mean, that question doesn't have a narrow, you know, must be Disney or must be such and such decade. Wow. Or a sip of coffee, and I didn't realize how much I needed it. Okay. Good evening, Lord Snarl. Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. By the way, thank you for sharing the, to Lord Snarl, thank you for sharing the crazy caricature of a fake coin. Funny part was, the one that you shared actually ended up looking, oddly, the border and stuff, oddly looked a lot like what Canada ended up with on our toonie. Just kind of odd, as I said. But yeah, Terry Darts and I were talking a little bit more about that last night as well. Watership down, yes. I saw a really bad meme yesterday, and I don't know if Springer Shadow saw it too, just the timing seems odd. But there was a really ridiculous meme yesterday in one of the Discords I was looking at, where it's a picture of someone's grocery store, I guess. And it said, and it said something along the lines of, what What can I remember? I'm just gonna have to jump in here if they saw it. You've read the book, you've seen the movie, now eat the actors. Rabbit, for whatever the price was. It's like, are you kidding me? Wow. I guess I need a path, because apparently I got lost coming back here. And I'm causing problems with mobs. Even better. Sarcasm. And I forgot to bring the campfires. Duh. Okay, so we're back at this again, partly because I hate the top. We'll just make it all Blackstone. That's kind of the point of this whole trip. Yes, Goofy put that in Discord. Exactly. I just couldn't remember which Discord I read it in, Pirate. Pirate. Poodle. You know, I was thinking about your comment earlier with about taking the dog to the salon. If you could get Toby to sit still enough, it would be hilarious to get a fresh picture of Toby with a pirate hat on for the purposes of your stream. But anyway, you can't get past the beginning. It's horrific. Yes. Well, I mean, I had trouble with The Secret of Nim for years and years. And then now that I've done a lot of reading over my kids' shoulders or having them show me Mouse Guard, I think I could probably handle Watership Down a lot better than I used to. I mean, I've read it. Okay, so I've read it back to back. It's no big deal that way. But the visuals in some of the versions were well done, just creepy. Okay. So, yeah, we gotta work. My brain just suddenly drew a blank. What was I doing? Oh, yes. Okay. Looking for the stone cutter. That's what it was. Wow. This is not good if I'm drawing blanks like that. Okay. Where is... We'll take these ones. Remove those. That'll do for now, I think. Let's just get a couple more sets. Okay, so today's question was, what awful movie do you love? I think we've covered that, so I'm just going to throw up a new question of the day. Because what I would often try and do is do one per stream, but because I'm not streaming this evening, we might as well fire a new one off. What have we got now? Which show do you remember most from your childhood? There we go. That works. And we'll also throw a new geek out there, because we can. Oops. I hit the settings button, not the geek out button. There we go. Nope, skip that.
Bravery is by far the kindest word for stupidity, don't you think?
Whoops. Word to the wise, if you're going to use the app for Stream Deck on a tablet, just beware that your tablet has a vertical sensitivity range that's sort of like a dome in a way near the buttons, and just sweeping through the wrong part of the range can trigger one of those buttons. I may have to see if there's a way to turn down the sensitivity. Ah, perfect. See, I knew somebody would know stuff before. Childhood that shows from your childhood you remember. Art Attack. Huh. That's cool. I actually am one of those kids who remembers reading Rainbow. You know, that whole you don't have to take my word for it business. Yeah. I remember that far too well. Exactly. Exactly. Well, apparently, not that long ago. I mean, recent, but long ago. Oh, whoops! I was just about to try and fly. That's not going to hold water at the moment. That's this one. Put that up there. And I was going to say I don't know what I did with my rockets, but I do know. Okay. They're in the wrong spot. There we go. Yeah, but LeVar Burton apparently recently he's into foundations and stuff like that, and the whole how he got into that show. It's kind of a cool story. I'm not going to reiterate, but it's definitely worth looking at. YouTube has several different versions of interviews where he's given the story up. The long story made super short was his mom was a teacher, in a time where being a person of color and getting a teaching certificate was really difficult.
Hello.
Really, really difficult. Hey Gary, how are you? Airwolf, Knight Rider, Transformers, G.I. Joe, and He-Man. I know all of those. That's kind of sad. Here's a fun sort of a tidbit. I'm actually quite curious. Oh, whoops. I needed to get that block out of there, but not quite drop it over the edge. That was not quite what I intended. I'm curious what people like Terrier Darts would say. Also quite curious what Fantastic Sherlock Fox is going to say. And the reason I'm extra curious about these ones is for a couple of things. One, the UK, for example, would have had different television than North America. Or, sorry, Lord Snarl too. I apologize. Anyone across the Atlantic Ocean. But another reason I'm curious is Fantastic Sherlock Fox and I have talked about it for multiple reasons. During part of the 80s, for military reasons, his family was stationed in Germany. So a lot of the stuff that I grew up with as like 80s television, he didn't get till much later. Just the way I don't know why, but it took forever to get across the ocean to the German base, to the base in Germany, sorry. And so, so some of the things we remember, I gotta go, oh, that was back in, and he's like, it wasn't for me. And some of the reruns I grew up with, they never got. So it's interesting to see how that changes people's perspectives on things. But I mean, for example, you know, we're talking, some people are mentioning cartoons. I remember a good bunch of cartoons and a bunch of Disney ones too, like, you know, Gummy Bears and that sort of jazz. But at the same time, I don't know why my dad liked old TV shows, particularly from the 60s and 70s, because he, in 60, like when people talk in North America about where were you when Woodstock hit, he was working in England. So for him, Woodstock wasn't really a thing, even though he's the right age for it. But yeah, so we watched an awful lot of reruns. So I remember growing up things like watching Get Smart and The Prisoner and what else? I'm trying to remember. There was a bunch of stuff. I also remember on Sunday nights, Disney used to have, like, run some of their cartoons. It was like The Magical World of Disney or something. Airwolf, Knight Rider, Transformers, G.I. Joe, and He-Man. Yeah. But I've had Gummy Bears and Smurfs. Hey, how are you doing today?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, with this crew. How are you doing today, Benson? Yes. I'm just having one of those, like, weird days where I'm forgetting who to call what where. It's one of those days. I was mentioning yesterday that I've been starting to explore looking at ADD things because I'm trying to figure out how to deal with, or how to deal more friendly, that makes no sense, but more cooperatively, I guess, with some youth we have in our scouting program. But the more I learn, the more I'm starting to think that I should probably look into that for me. It would explain an awful lot of squirrels and things I got in trouble for as a kid. So that's not meant as an excuse, just more of a heads up piece. And it's a bit of a distracting obsession at the moment. Okay. PP Cirque says not to forget Anne of Green Gables. I was dodging that one because of how Canadian it is. But the Sullivan production of Anne of Green Gables is like the best thing that I remember from my youth. I still collect Anne of Green Gables Christmas ornaments as much as I can. I've seen Green Gables. I've seen Silverbush. As in, we went on a trip. I went on a trip when I was, 14? Something like that, 14 or 15? My mom had a business conference in Charlottetown, in Prince Edward Island. So for those of you that aren't familiar with that, that's a province in Canada, Prince Edward Island, where L.M. Montgomery wrote the Anne of Green Gables series and based it a lot on locations she knew. So means then that Green Gables really does exist, and Silverbush really does exist, and there are very strong hints that some of the characters in her later books, particularly the Pat of Silverbush series, or it starts there, may actually be based on real people that she knew. But in any case, I quite enjoy that. My mom had a business trip there, and she offered to let me come, and we would do some of the touring stuff on the weekends before and after. And then during the week when she was stuck in her conference sessions, she let me tool around PEI all by myself as a teenager, which was awesome. I mean, the core of PEI, you can do almost everything on foot. Nope. This is real. You can just boogie your little shiny hiney out of here. Stop following me. Ugly pile of pixels. There we go. I wonder. I think I must have left something. Anyway. But, so I loved Anne of Green Gables quite a lot. The first of the trio of Sullivan productions, the first one was very good. The second one was not bad. The third one I could easily do without. Because they just threw the books to the wind and said, forget it. And they needed a good love war story, and that's all the third one really was. But, let's see, similar period. Stuff remember growing up. Not to leave out some of the international material. For example, one of the things that was animated and live action that was hot when I was a kid, or not hot, but more fire. Well, that's one way to remove the roof. And excuse my language, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's one way to remove the roof. So, for those who didn't know, today I was reminded that, whatever this is, basalt, is not as blast resistant as blackstone. That would have been annoying. And apparently not as blast resistant on my gear either. Okay, well, now I know. Yeah, so where I was going with the international thing, not to leave international out of it, is hippie long stockings is another one of those things that was quite popular when I was a kid, which harkens back a little bit in my memories to the semi-live action material. Reminds me a lot of Pete's Dragon. I don't know how many of you remember that flick. Another one of those ones where they had to have some scenes or portions of scenes filmed twice, so that the studio animators and stuff could actually add Pete the Dragon after the fact, but also so that the actors had something to respond to. They had, cranes and things throwing characters all around for one of the scenes where Pete just wreaks havoc. Yeah. Now, I know Pete's Dragon has been remade in modern years, and frankly, I did not sit through and see that one because I waited to see what the reviews were going to be like. Caught all the trailers and the teasers, watched a couple of clips of the early portion of the movie, so not to get too many spoilers, and did not like the new version. Same sort of ruining that has happened to the modern Peter Pans. I liked the book for Peter Pan. I'm chose to treat Disney's Peter Pan as something entirely separate. I've seen several Peter Pan musicals, but yeah, they ruined it. Anyways, so yeah, Pete's Dragon was cool though, because they had to have the mechanics and stuff like, to be replaced by the animated in the same way, or very similar to when they were doing Who Framed Roger Rabbit later on. Is the name of it, Lord Snarl, is the name of it not family friendly, or is it just the content? Because if it's just the content, we can mention it, but just we'll make a point of noting it's definitely not family friendly content. Okay, I'm gonna derail for this on the geek out. Disney, one song with the word day in the lyrics. Have you, Cherry Darts or anyone else actually seen Song of the South? The movie that Disney sort of refuses to acknowledge exists. The reason I ask is because I have, and it's definitely a piece of its time. Yeah. Generally, Zerk, you won't, unless you see a bootleg copy. In recent years, Disney has acknowledged they've made it, but will never ever re-release it. It will never be on Disney Plus. Not even as one of the films that they now... Ooh! That now Disney Plus is putting out some of their older material, but they're putting disclaimers on the front of it saying, it was made of its time. At the time, it was okay to do what we're doing, and like what you see on screen, and acknowledging that it's not politically correct today. Song of the South was one where they say it's not coming back, period. Which I'm not sure I agree with. I actually would rather see it come out with one of those disclaimers on the front. And it's not just because of the animated characters I did love growing up with storybooks of Brer Rabbit and so on, but I think it's just another way of burying parts of the past. And that's just my, semi-political view for the day. As the whole, like, it's the channel that doesn't discuss politics that ends up discussing politics, But yeah, I've actually seen it, and actually, oddly enough, I quite liked it, understanding that it's not politically correct in any way, shape, or form. If that makes any sense. So, those of you that aren't aware, as you can imagine from the title, Song of the South is very much involving, slavery and plantations and that kind of jazz. And that's actually a critical part of the story. So it's kind of a shame that they won't show it now. There were even pushbacks when it was made. And not a fact that it was made, but there were pushbacks when it was made in the way that some of the characters were being treated in the movie. They're saying, this isn't realistic. And that actually some of the characters didn't get paid a whole lot to make that movie. Surprise, surprise. But some of the complaints came from the fact, actually, like from the actors at the time, as I understand it, was that for good reason, one of the main characters, the guy who plays Uncle Remus, actually got paid more than the white lady who plays the main kid character's mom. And apparently back then that there was an issue with that. So I just thought that was an interesting side story when I was reading about it, because it wasn't just a people of color thing. It also addressed the gender inequality in pay at the time. I thought that was kind of interesting to hear that that had been an issue. Yeah, like, wasn't there, I can't remember which famous person is frequently quoted as having said it, but I mean, there's the, those that fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And there's, I think the other thing we talked about when I was taking history in school was college, I believe it was, but anyways, they're talking that there's a roughly 70-year cycle between major planetary war upheavals. and we are well overdue. So I'm not really surprised that in some parts of the planet, things are going to pot quite quickly. Pop-up message. 15 minutes to the top of the hour if we want to stop at the usual time. What say ye? Fantastic Show of Fox had told me this morning that if I wanted to run long, partly because I don't have an evening stream, I can. The disadvantage to that is twofold. One, well, okay, multifold, but one of them is you get stuck with me longer. And I'm going to probably be obsessing on finishing this, and who knows what'll come out of my mouth. But the other side of it, though, is I believe, if someone can correct me, that Wednesday is usually a Jade Day, and I haven't had the chance to look and see if she's live. I just missed the pop-up in the corner of my eye if there is one. Frequently she starts half hour before I finish. Yeah, there's that. One of the other things I will be doing once I finish this is focusing to put more Geek Outs in the system. I'm trying to get all of the Geek Out original set put into the system. That's my main target right now, just so that the set seems to be heavily skewed towards Disney right now, even though by sheer number, there's actually far less Disney set inputs in the system. I don't know why it's skewing towards the Disney stuff, because we actually have 3 sets of questions in there in terms of the way the files work. So I'm trying to overload it more by putting non-Disney things in there. Fantastic Show at Fox, are you able to confirm for me whether or not our fine friend Jade is up today? Or anyone else who's looking at that sort of thing. Oh, ha ha. I did just get distracted by a little pop-up in the corner of my screen. Apparently there's more commentary to be had after stream in Terrier Dart's, I think it's Terrier Dart's own Discord. Or somewhere that he's posting. And he's quite intrigued by the shows you remember from your childhood. Aw, boo. Ah. I'm enjoying doing this. I'm enjoying having you guys around. I could easily go for longer. So, I may just do that. You're welcome to stick around or depart, whatever works better for your schedule or your tastes. That works too. We can have ourselves some new questions, because songs with Day in the lyrics, when it's Disney music with Day in the lyrics, that's a little bit more challenging. So I would say one more I could think of, unless we've already, yeah, Zippity Doodah was one of them, and Oodalali from Robin Hood qualifies as well, because they have Golly What a Day in that line, or in the end of the main section, I guess. I have wings. I can get down and sleep. Or I can go splat. Quick pause. Let's see who I'm depriving you from. On the bright side, not much. That's cool. Okay. Not much Minecraft, let's put it that way. So, oh, too much in the inventory. That's what's going on. This, that. Pick up these while I'm down here. Okay, let's hit up a new Geek Out. But I'm going to keep the question of the day and see what else we can come up with. And I have creepers again. Dude. For the love of God, go away. I don't want to come in and out and just get blown up that way. If you're going to come out... There you are. Shazam. This is why I like a bow with flame. Then they don't just take the damage and then come back. Alright, Back here. But yeah, I'm curious to know. So we asked about shows you remember from your childhood. I have a weird question to follow on with that. What sorts of shows do you remember from your childhood that your parents used to watch? I mean, we all had those ones where, I didn't say all, but quite a few of us had situations where our parents would, send us to bed so that we could watch, so they could watch whatever it is. The professionals, yep. Quincy, I've actually seen a good bit of Quincy. Magnum P.I. and Columbo, ha! Yes. See, that was one of the best bits, is I didn't watch a ton of Magnum P.I. I was not a Tom Selleck fan as a kid, or as any older. But I do remember watching Columbo. Peter Falk was amazing. One more thing! Just one more thing! Which is part of why my family and I laughed so hard when we first started seeing the Apple presentations and Steve Jobs started doing the one more thing. And he actually meant it in the business sense, but I think he also got a kick out of that. It would have been in his era. Dempsey and Makepeace. Don't think I've seen any of Makepeace, but I'm familiar with Dempsey. My brother was for lack of a better term, a Britophile. That sounds weird. Actually, it sounds inappropriate. But he quite liked and or likes a lot of the older British television. So one of the things that we do, of course, is from time to time pirate British television and catch up on some of the things that we didn't see because, in Canada you just didn't get a lot of that. Buck Rogers. Nice. One of the other ones, for some reason, I don't know, my dad was also into, that's when he was into wrestling, which wasn't my thing. But what else did we watch? I can't remember what it was. Bonanza with Lauren Green. That's cool. I find it interesting that you noted female British armed police officer. It's an interesting distinction because in the US or Canada, that would be obvious. As in, yeah, they're all armed. But not in the same way. Like, I mean, technically one could argue from a certain point of view, British officers are armed as well. But it's not firearms. Knots Landing, ooh, yeah. Dallas, for sure. Now, is that your childhood? Or was that your parents watching? I don't think I caught the Virginian, but I do remember Gunsmoke, yes. For sure. As I said, we watched a lot of old rerun stuff as well, so that's when we would watch, like, The Prisoner. Plenty of Get Smart. I do remember that as well. And the horrible, yet hilarious Adam West Batman. I don't know. But I mean, we also have to keep in mind, this is the era where it was perfectly fine for kids to run around the house in their underwear because they'd have, like, what was the brand? I think the big one in North America was Underoos, but they'd have, like, the Batman outfit underpants, and then you could buy a matching t-shirt, so your kids are basically running around the house in Batman costume, but it's an undershirt and underpants. Like, these days, they're like, why is your kid running around in their underwear? It was in its prime, indeed, but it doesn't make it quality television. I mean, come on, sir. You're gonna tell me you missed the Batusi. Actually, I'll admit, one of the other things we would put on in the afternoon frequently would be American Bandstand. So I was very familiar with Dick Clark for the longest time. Hey, Dadcraft. Exactly. And the weird bit, of course, is that was perfectly appropriate for both sides. So they had if you watch back at some of the old recollection type videos that are seeming to become popular in YouTube, you'll find they had like Wonder Woman sets for the girls as well. Or I think some parts of North America they had released like a limited edition Catwoman set. Okay. I think Incredible Hulk came a little bit later, but yeah, Bruce Banner. Bill Bixby was pretty good as Bruce, not Bruce Banner, sorry, Bruce. Yeah. Anyway, he was good. I actually got to meet Lou Ferrigno once, the guy who played the Hulk, and he was pretty cool. Weirdly enough, part of the reason he actually got the role was not just that he was a bodybuilder, but another reason actually was because he was deaf. And it wasn't sort of an affirmative action thing. And one of the things they liked was because he was deaf and had learned speech, he still had that unfortunately stereotypical pronunciation that a lot of deaf speakers have, where it sounds kind of mushy and muted a little bit, which works really well for a character that virtually has no lines, but if they ever wanted to throw in a word or two, it would make sense for the character to not be able to say it correctly. But yeah, Ferrigno was a really, really nice guy when I met him. Dell likes Hulk. For some reason, DC likes Wonder Woman better than Batman. That's scary. I just thought the actors did well. I mean, that's part of that whole movie magic biz, was looking at how they did the shots from the Hulk. And honestly, it's what you would expect. It really was double filming. So, for Bruce or Bill Bixby would have to stand there and make it looks about as corny, actually, when you see the behind the scenes footage. I've seen the conversion between the two. It looks about as corny as you would expect. So when, say we'll look at Walker Texas Ranger as a character, but when they had him scrunch up his face because he was ticked off about something, like he was going to yell or whatever, that kind of look out of Bill Bixby, and you have to stand there for like 3 minutes till they figured they had enough footage that then they could have Lou come on, try and imitate the face while he's standing there in his green makeup, and stand there for like 5 minutes before they figured they had enough footage, and then Lou could go on acting the rest of that scene as the Green Hulk. And it's one of those ones where, being a fly on the wall during some of that stuff, I probably could not have contained my laughter. Well, of course it'd be easier on the eyes yellow to watch Wonder Woman. I mean, see-through jet and all. Why not? Honestly, we didn't have a whole lot of good cartoons for girls in the 80s. She-Ra was fine. It's okay, They had it. I swear that was a gender balancing because of He-Man. Like, pure and simple, that's about the only reason it existed. Then we had like Gem and the Holograms. Woohoo! Just not great content. Did I watch it? Of course I did. Why? Because there was not much else on. When I was younger, we used to have a babysitter her thing was watching soap operas, but I'm trying to remember which one it was. It wasn't Days of Our Lives. Something or other, anyway. And I just remember mentally tuning out. But the kids' shows were about as bad. And the funny part is, I didn't even like My Little Pony in the 80s. I didn't watch it. So I'm catching up on a lot now. I knew more about Disney's Gummy Bears or Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. What's the other one we used to watch a lot of? DuckTales. I like that one. And it wasn't all about the Disney stuff, just I liked a lot of that far better. I even liked G.I. Joe far better. Lots and lots of Smurfs. So that was one that Fantastic Fox had mentioned earlier, was lots of Smurfs. Actually, I even watched... I was so against watching the Sitters soap operas, and she was physically disabled, so she's watched an awful lot of television. didn't go anywhere. And so I was so against watching that I even watched Smurfs in French, which is kind of sad. You couldn't tell a single thing about what was going on because, I mean, they could have had different storylines because Smurfs was one of those ones where they reused so much of the footage and it was not a physical acting type of show in terms of the way the characters behaved, that they could have had two different things going on and you would never have known. Cartoon-based video games. I actually can't give you personally a whole lot of love for video games, at least not old ones, because I never had a console of any sort. One of my friends, I think, had a Super something or other. Might have been Super NES. We didn't have... It wasn't for money reasons. My parents didn't believe in it. So we had a few games on computer and stuff. Like, I was one of the early adopters when Myst came out. We had Sticky Bear Typing. That was kind of cheesy, but I enjoyed that. Dude. Fine. But we didn't have a whole lot for games and stuff, so I never had a console growing up. First console in our household, actually, was after I got together with Fantastic Sherlock Fox, because he had a PS2. I think one of my friends in junior high had a Sega Genesis, I think it was. So we played an awful lot of safe games, like Clax, which is just one of those, you know, stack it up type of things. Wacky races. That sounds like fun. Culture Party. Books. 4 titles with four blah blah blah. 4 titles with alliterative titles. Wow. I'm gonna skip that one because we can come back to it another time. Rent a Ghost. How did I do that? We got this one yesterday. 2 games in which a snake appears. We're gonna say snake. Anybody else? Any of the Harry Potter games that have Nagini? So there we go. Covered. Next.
Apparently not.
Ow! Sometimes when I make mistakes, they're kind of fortuitous. So, let's see, which show... No, we got that one. Geek Out. If we're into Disney animation... there you go. Black Card from Family Friendly... Oh, okay. Supposedly Family Edition, Cards Against Humanity, says, Mom, you've come to pick me up. There's blank at this party. I assume that they mean that the character is annoyed to be picked up. And they didn't want to be because they didn't want to go home.
Diagonally.
Ew. Yuck. People. There's people at this party. The 3 species seen in Zootopia. We can cover that off fairly quickly. We have, there's plenty of them in there, but the top 3 I'm thinking of is Flash the Sloth. We've got the main character is a bunny, and then the secondary character is a fox. Okay, then there's a sheep. Even looking at the posters, you could handle that. My daughter was not too impressed with the way Zootopia turned out initially, because she likes sheep, but it kind of made sense that it went the way it did. Yes, except it's a bad girl. Yes, DC, the sloths worked at the DMV. So they're trying to get a license plate for a particular vehicle, and the guy is typing so slow and gets interrupted by the fox who decides to ask him a joke question, and then Sloth is taking forever to repeat the question back. And the best kicker is at the very end of the movie, when the two of them are both, yes, spoiler alert, but the two of them are both cops at that point, and the bunny and the fox go and stop this car that's speeding incredibly fast, and it rolls down the window, and the driver is the sloth. Okay, so we are really, really done this now. This one here. So it needs to be decorated and filled. Decorated and filled, which is not here. So let's go back to base. This one, go up there. That. And I'll get my proper tools back when we get home. Believe I can fly. I still miss my broom, but this is very, very nice to be able to have Elytra Flight back. It's a little faster than the broom. I will admit, DC, I had to have a good chuckle when you were first trying out the backpacks for rocket jetpacks in modded towards the end of the season, and we're kind of annoyed that they weren't very fast before somebody told you about the gas pedal, in essence. I've done that kind of oopsie so many times. It's kind of ridiculous. Well, you're the one that claimed I had modded fever. I just need to get my feet back under me, I think, is probably the big key. And it's not necessarily, I mean, it is motivation, but there's more to it than that. It's also trying to re-remember what I super enjoyed about Java and how I did things in Java that were equally as good as modded. Not that. Alright, let's see. Don't need the project for that. Let's get the block back out. No, that's basalt. I don't want basalt. Until I know I'm done, I better put these away in a smart place. More basalt, yes. And that's Blackstone related stuff. Alright. No, this one. Oh, it's deep slate related. Okay. Blackstone, Blackstone, Blackstone. It's deep slate. That's basalt. Okay. And blocks. I don't know. Have a great time, Lord Style. It is probably dinner time for you, or if not, pretty close to crashing again. Where are we here? Yeah, it's about 7 p.m. That's not too bad. Whereas for the Aussies, they should probably be getting out of bed in about an hour. Good for them. Starting to... Oh, no, I don't need the deep slate. Let's leave that in there. Okay, so we've got some random junk mess. That's pretty normal. Take the random junk mess block with me, because that's the only one I ever remember to look into when things happen. Ah, I see. Yes, and he had said yesterday he wasn't up for doing Minecraft lately. Just doesn't fire him up, so that's fine. If some of you want to head over, or multi-park, or whatever suits your fancy, enjoy. Where are we here? I want a couple of campfires. I've got the... Yeah, that should do. And then I need some chains, wherever I've got the chains. Hey! It's back! Yesterday, for some reason that I do not understand, we had missing chests. They were just not there. Like, invisible. And I've done nothing between now and then. Sloth, rabbit, and fox, for sure. Okay, did I have any lanterns that I was not seeing? Is that snow layers? Huh. I should probably dye those white. That would make sense. I won't remember. Never remember those sorts of things. Okay, so go. Grab a bunch. Actually, I can do that part off stream. I'll hold off on getting the armor just because that takes forever in a day. Lots and lots of grindy stuff. Okay, so this one. Do I have any... One barrel. I can deal with that. Geek Out became Pop Culture Party Movies, 4 films, the music scored by John Williams. Star Wars 4 to 6 and Indiana Jones, all of them. Yep. For sure. Geek Out, anything truly epic. Not necessarily true. I would equally say Hans Zimmer does some pretty epic stuff. But if you want orchestral epic, then yeah, you've got John Williams. If you want something more edgy, I guess, than the smoother sound of orchestra, then you've got Williams. Or not Williams, sorry, Zimmer. True. Brockhammer's got some good stuff. Okay, what am I looking at? I'm can't spell barrel, to save myself today. I'd be careful how I spell things, because, you know, I might say something wrong and catch myself on it and have a good laugh. Okay. Planks. Okay, I have enough. Don't need 64, but why not? Hello? 43, sure. That's even better. I don't need 64. There, now we have a bit of birch we can put away. Okay, I don't need 43 barrels. Barrel signage. I don't know what color I want to make them. Question is, do I want it to stick out? What do I have? Dyes, we're down here. I've got some glowing sacks, so I could do that. Okay, let's sleep while I think. Totally forgot about, yeah. There's actually a neat little YouTube video I've put away to watch later. But it's sort of a documentary type discussion, but it's about everybody else talking about Harrison Ford creating the Harrison Ford type and how nobody else could really do some of the roles he's done. We also have to remember that John Williams is getting aged. So once he's done some of the, I mean, he's done some of the indie movies, he's done some of the Star Wars, you know, he's done all of that Harry Potter stuff. His style is so typecast that he's fighting against himself, right? So some of the last 3 Star Wars movies that, as Aircraft correctly stated, were not the best. He was fighting against himself, in my mind, in that he's trying his best to fit the score and fit the style and fit whatever without repeating too much. And yet, also, the worst bit about sequels is you are forced to, more or less, to incorporate themes from your previous work that you may not even like anymore. I mean, I bet you just about every single time he finishes scoring an indie movie, that Williams is like, oh, thank God it's over. I don't have to hear that stupid thing stuck in my head over and over and over again. Earworm and all. What have we got? Ooh, that actually might look nice for some pedestals. Maybe a little bit of that. I think his music was one of the only good things about the last 3 movies. Well, I mean, Disney couldn't let certain characters well enough alone. And if they're going to connect movies to previous movies, they better just do it rather than bending about the bush trying to introduce new characters first. make you think they broke from the original set and then suddenly bring the original characters back in when they're old farts. It was just a ridiculous thing to do. I quite liked the older Leia, but that's because they went down a road with that character that I kind of wish they had done or made more obvious earlier on. On the other hand, I will admit I liked some of the Star Wars Extended Universe stuff that Timothy Zahn had written. I read the first 3 of Zahn's books. What am I looking for? No, I don't want this. Do I not have a wood? I thought I had a wood box out here. I thought I had multiple wood boxes, and I just didn't look in them. What I'm thinking of is in with the Prismarine that sort of shifts colors and stuff. Well, maybe not that one. I'm thinking some of this sort of warp stem might look cool because of the color shifting as well. They bought the toy, and to tell you can't play with it after buying it is kind of wrong. No, I get that. It's just... I don't know. I liked the idea of adding the new characters, I just think they did it really badly. But when I was reading Timothy Zahn's books, I'm not personally a fan... Yes, I know this is going to look too Tradar, but it is what it is. But I'm not personally a fan of the militaristic side of movies. It's never really been my thing. So my beef with the Zahn books was that they spent so much time dealing with Admiral Thrawn and that sort of militaristic side of stuff that just for me they weren't... How do I put it? I was going to say Jedi-y, but no, it was that even when there was some battle stuff, it was just far too long in between. So some people say they should have just made those books into the next 3 movies. And I'm kind of glad they didn't. I really don't think that would have worked. I'm sorry that they're ripping the characters out of that part of the timeline and putting them elsewhere, but that's neither here or there at the moment. A lot of the stuff that people say should have been made into movies. Yeah, I just think it would have been a flop at the box office. And to backtrack and try now would be even worse. I'm looking for... do I have Nether stuffs? Soul Soil, can I... I was just about to type U for use. My bad. Alrighty then. I like the lanterns, but I don't want the orange ones. Fine. The other thing I find interesting about this recipe is they don't let me just grab existing quantities of torches and toss them on top of the sand. Would be nice. You know, would be nice. Okay, so that's more on sand. We can do that if I grab sticks. Box of sticks, please. Ooh, I actually don't have a box of sticks. Nice. Yes, I am that strange. Okay. No box of sticks means where did I put the sticks? I just don't want to go making more if I can't find them. These ones. There should be plenty for what I'm looking for. Huh. Okay, well, that's fine. Something I have stupid amounts of. I'm gonna say I have stupid amounts of spruce, but I don't. Because... yeah. And coal. Yeah, Dill does digging in her inventory. Wow. That's a convenient sized pile of coal. Okay. So the ideas I'm thinking involving... Oh, maybe I need some more anvils. Here we go. The ideas I'm thinking involving using the prismarine and so forth, and the warp stems as pedestals for the barrels. Lighting up the place with chains and, like, not chains, sorry, lanterns hung from chains. I was going to use regular campfires. I don't know if I want orange look or if I want the blue soul look. It might be kind of cool to have sort of a bluish theme through the whole thing. And, I mean, it's sort of monotone, I guess, because I'm thinking of putting diamond armor and diamond equipment in there. So it's very monotone in that sense, but it will do. Yellow says, I don't like how they took the characters, but they could have chosen better writers. What, you're not a Filoni fan? I'm just kidding. My son hates it when I talk about Filoniizing something. He doesn't like that word. Or that faux word. Fantastic Sherlock Fox says they had a really tough bar to reach, given how much fans had built since the original trilogy. I'm not sure any story could have satisfied people. If anything, I think they tried too hard to fit in specific scenes. When you're saying specific scenes, do you mean in the failed reboot trilogy at the end, or do you mean something different? Because, I mean, I could be reading that completely out of context. And I don't need these. Where did I put all the netherrack? That's interesting. Huh. I thought that was my nether box. That just... yeah. I really need to sort these things, like actually put science on them. Yes. I would agree with you, Yellow. I guess there's no real point in worrying about what the signage is going to look like until I actually have it filled with stuff. What do I have for... The other part of it is, I'm not even sure if I want to do signage or if I just want to do item frames. 55 blocks worth. Okay, that can get me a lot. But let's just go and decorate the place. It's probably easier. It took me long enough to build the stupid thing. I mean, I really like the anvil concept overall. I don't mind the shape, but it was probably not a great idea for me to wing it on stream. On the other hand, the headspace of winging it was kind of fun and refreshing. 7 to 9 were more about fan service attempts rather than really trying to focus on a memorable story. I think you're right, and truthfully I think they wanted to sell more toys, more costumes, more robots, more, you know, more of this, more everything. It was a bit of a cash grab. Oh, not to mention that there's a bit of a equalization thing going on. Because, I mean, you could say it was all about the guys if you really wanted to. And so they had to balance that out. Oh my goodness. You know, and... yeah, there's a bunch of, like, affirmation stuff going on there that I don't really agree with. But another thing, I mean, no offense intended to people who are a fan of the actor, I'm not an Adam Driver fan. Never have been, never will be. So, if anybody can think of an Adam Driver film that where he doesn't look like a total knob, please let me know. Because, yeah, I can't seem to think of him as much use in that sort of world. Yeah, not my cup of tea, as you can say. Okay. Well, I mean, one of the other things that got me is I kind of, if they wanted to continue this whole Skywalker concept, okay? If that's sort of, this whole thing, all 9 is like a Skywalker story of sorts. Dropping the twinness that had been written in by Zahn was kind of lame. but they didn't have to deal with another character that way. The long and the short of how Rey is not, or is technically a Palpatine, is a bit of a mess. And it's a really, frankly, lame-o story. When your big bad villain acts like a petulant teenager. Yes. With, well, I was gonna say, with serious daddy issues. You know, they make no bones about the fact that Ford played a version of Han that was an absentee dad who had zero interest in being there whatsoever. So he took off because the kid needed training. He got, frankly, dumped by his mom over to his uncle, who is emotionally bereft. So yeah. What do you expect? I mean, in all honesty, he acted like a petulant teenager the same way Luke did when Luke was roughly a similar age. The major difference, though, is rather than having a whole bunch of people around that Luke could have taken their heads off or something like that, he was stuck in the middle of back of beyond desert, and best he could do is throw lumps of sand. Or rocks, maybe. And whine about, what was it? Shooting rats. I sometimes wonder if he got the opportunity to go and do that type of, pest shooting simply because they had to get him out of the house to be he was being very, very annoying. I will say, when the early screen tests I've seen of Mark Hamill's work, when he was doing tryouts and stuff for Luke, he was terrible. Whether or not you think he's improved since then, I don't think he's a great physical actor. I think he's been pretty good as a voice actor since then. That's my take on it. Okay, while I was in here, where did I put the anvils? Let's take these in. Clearly I need to think about how I'm going to get people up to the second level, because that's something that actually didn't occur to me. It's sort of important, and I left that part out. Disney's finding good footing for the franchise, though. It might be enough to revitalize it, even for people who don't like Andor. From what I'm seeing in snippets from Fantastic Sherlock Fox, I actually liked Andor. Like, as in, I might sit down and binge it at some point. That said, part of the reason I stopped watching with the family was because was because I very much did not like the Mandalorian stuff. Yes, I fell in love with Grogu, as just what every goofball does, but that wore off. Let's get the fires out of here. I want to try that blue and see how that goes. Pardon me. Got blue torches. Oops. Well, now we have 12 blue torches because that wasn't what I was thinking about doing. So yeah, I'm liking some of this stuff. With regards to, will you let me? Just for curiosity. Okay, they are in the system. I don't know why I didn't see them earlier. 2. This is the test bunch before I get too far. I did that wrong. That's not what I want. I got distracted. Oh. Yeah, I didn't like the Mandalorian stuff. I kind of thought that was attempting to invent a side story that really did not need to exist. That's what I want 2 of. Let's try this and just see what it looks like. It's not great. It's not horrible. Does the direction make a difference? Yes. For me, it does. Let's look touch. Okay, we're good. Hello. I think I like that. I'm not a huge fan of all the smoke up top. Do I have any string? Don't think string's gonna make much difference. While not having some definitely makes a difference, so I'm not gonna worry about that then. Oh, I lied. I have just enough in the junk bin. Perfect. I have to experiment with anyways, right? Okay, so if I put that here... Oh, it won't let me. How convenient. Huh, okay. That's fine. Now it's orangey. Alright, so temporary way to get up to the top. Do I have ladders in my randomness? 11. Sure, that'll work. Anything else? That's rails. Oh, that's where the iron went. You know, as it should. Okay. So yeah. This isn't gonna help actually because ooh. Now that's where these might become useful. Okay. Where is this? What can I do with these? Not much. Darn it. Deep slate, you've got to do it. What have we got? Yeah, that'll have to do. I know I've got deep slate brick stairs elsewhere that I left behind, but I'm not too fussed. Polish still has a weird texture to it. Like, I wish it didn't have that. But, oh well, it is what it is. Okay, so stairs, I'll take one stack and we'll deal with it after. Do I have? No. Walls. Blackstone, no. Cobbled deep slate wall. Polished deep slate walls. Let's not experiment with that many. Deep slate brick walls. Let's try polished ones. I wonder. Oh, these are going to be in the wrong place. Yeah. So this isn't quite going to work. This is just temporary to get started, and then I'll put slabs in between so we can get ourselves a somewhat more useful circular staircase. I'm doing them wrong. I know there's supposed to be a better way to do it, but me doing things right the first time is not likely, so... Oh. If I watch out for the fire, I might actually get it to work. Geek Out became 2 fictional characters who carry whips. Wow. Just wow. Geek out, you crazy game. There's things that, when I originally typed them in, they sound family friendly. Then when they come up, my brain's like, excuse me? Okay. That'll actually work, and then I can just do straight slabs down at the bottom. Okay. And I missed the fire, so if I can get the slabs to work right... Not sure on a second. Fictional characters. Catwoman might. trying to remember who's the other one. The Hugh Jackman ringleader, circus ringleader from Greatest Showman, I think. Possibly. A, E, R, and T on the hangman. Okay. Deep slate brick stairs. I need slabs. These into brick slabs. Oh, I get 2. Let's cut that down. I don't need that many. I will need more pillars. No, not walls, pillars. Oh no, I've got 8 left. That'll get me the other side of the stairs. Okay. Some people prefer to have them level with the bottom of the next stair. Some people prefer to have them level with the top of the previous one. I can never decide, so I might do it one way. Hey! Who asked you? Oh, come on, you're right in my face. Take a hike. Try that again. Wow, stop strafing. I can't believe I'm terrible today. Huh. I suppose I should probably sleep. Zorro, hee, good one. I went and got ladders and I didn't use them. That's a very Delenn thing. No, those fires look terrible. Orange is definitely not the color for in here. So blue, this way. And I'm debating whether or not I want rails on the outside. One. Here. Nope, not that one. There we go. Let's see. How far down can I go? Ha ha ha! So, Delenn, that doesn't work. Because this one gets in the way. All the way down the outside. I'm aware that it's not, what do you call it? Spawn proof? There we go. Let's see. New titles, which is Sea Monster appears, Little Mermaid, and Pirates of the Caribbean with the Kraken. That's okay. You're welcome to do that. Go for it. Go for it. This one. I'm actually liking the deep slate bricks for the second level, so I might actually just close it off entirely this way. And... ooh. That might look a little more interesting. Ouch. Yep, and take your time to put the kid to bed as much time as you like, or need, or etc. This one. And I need 2 more. I can't even think of the word, we're in trouble. 1, 2. Ah, stuffs. Stuffs everywhere. I'm not using easy place. Go away. This one? I don't need those. Oops, wrong one. Random stuffs box. This one and that. You goof. Okay. There we go. I don't need those campfires. That will be another piece to put away. Campfires. There we go. Okay. And I don't have enough slabs now that I know what I'm doing with the floor. I want deep slate, brick slabs. It's mocking you. It is indeed mocking you. It's terrible when it does that. I don't like it when the game mocks people, but sometimes it's funny. Once in a blue moon. Okay, so I still want the prismarines. What am I looking for? Torches? No, I wanted... wrong one. This one. That'll get me started. What I think I'm going to do is repeat this, except instead of down here, I'm actually going to put it on the top of the pillar. And see how that works. It may not look any good at all. I gotta keep going the same orientation, more or less. The puzzle, oh boy. Puzzle, the puzzlers. Sure. I have the other pillar up yet, so I can't do that. This way. Now make sure we can still move. Yeah, we can still move. Alright, and then we've got the floor. That was right by... pillars, 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 pillars. One. I've got to go the opposite direction, not one of my strengths. That one. I don't remember the name of Riley's hockey team in Inside Out. I mean, we can... I was going to say the Mighty Ducks, and then I just realized that that technically that answer no longer qualifies. Because it is a thing now. You know, paid for by Disney, of course. When I typed that question, that was one that came in actually strangely enough just last night. And I thought, oh yeah, I know this one. I rattled off 2 teams, and now I can't remember what I was thinking. So, sorry. Dell's not a... No, I'm not. Zoolander would be disappointed. It also weirds me out that the other one, I don't believe ended... Oh, well that's why. See, I don't believe the other one ended like this, and it's because it shouldn't. There we go. That's the confusion. make sure I'm on the same level, right? It still doesn't seem to be ending in the same spot as the previous one. Don't think I have room for that. Okay, why does this feel different? Oh, no, that is the same. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a mirror placer all that effectively. Symmetrical copies? Sure. Mirror placing? Not so much. I don't like that smoke, but not much we can do about it. We talked about the other day, there's a semi-logical reason for the holes, so I guess I can go with it. Go. Floors. I'm assuming it's 15 minutes at the top of the new hour? Yeah. Unless we're on a really good roll, I think I will duck out. Just don't want to burn out a good thing. And next step up after this part is just a lot of grindy filling of things, as in heading to the iron farm, turning that into emeralds, buying stuff from the villagers, turning around and rinse and repeat, and then placing it all in here. But having places to put it is handy. So that's where there's marine that changes, I think. Doesn't in my hand, so that's probably not it. Can people remind me what part of it, what shape it is in the prismarine stuff that actually changes color? Because I would like to know. With one from the end, two from the end. 2, 3, 4. You can go. Well, say for example, when you take a look at the warp stems, okay, over time the coloring on them shifts a little bit. And I know that one of the prismarine blocks does something similar, but I can't remember which one, I'm afraid. How did I? Weird. I swore I wanted the building odd so I could have an odd door at the bottom, but it turned out even. It's gotta be a Dell thing. I guess if I stare at it long enough. Nope. So I haven't got it unlocked, which therefore means I can't go check. Okay, let's go see what's... I think we have a shop down here. Pick this up. If it turned out even, we're going to end up with a double door on this side. No, it doesn't. That's actually kind of how the game works. So when people say in the actual Geek Out game, just so you're aware, Geek Out does come as a physical game. So, you know, you've got a box. Okay. Let me deal with this guy. it does come as a physical game. In the box, quite literally, you get Geek Out cards, right? We've seen these sorts of things. Oh, there you go. You can sort of see the circles. And you get a die. Quite literally, it's just like, it's a 6-sided die, but there's 5 categories, and the 6th one is roll again or choose your own. In a rough neighborhood. So in terms of the answers, there isn't any actual answers. You just get literally a 2-page piece. Okay, so they say technically no cereals are allowed on a valid list. So for example, if Back to the Future was listed, then Back to the Future 2 could not be listed. You know, or Fast and the Furious, then Fast and the Furious 6 would not qualify. I haven't been playing that in most cases. If they say list a franchise, then you'd be not listing a franchise. But as far as it goes, basically the original one is done as bidding and bluffing. So you would roll the die to determine your category. Then the players go around and it says so the one person would roll the dice, and the person to their right, right, I don't know why, then draws the Geek Out card off the top and reads the category. The player who rolled the dice then states if they accept the category, the minimum bid as listed on the card, which... Oh, minimum bid meaning like 2 points or 6 points or whatever it is for the number of items you have to get. Or if they'd like to increase it by bidding higher. Once the player has made their bid, the option to bid passes to the next player clockwise. So then to your left, and it goes around that way. You can either pass or bid higher than the original person, but cannot bid the same amount. And all players have either passed. So this continues in clockwise order until all players have passed except for the last player to bid. The bidding process may take several rounds to get to this point. The highest bidder must then attempt to successfully complete the challenge based on their bid. So, for example, it says one fictional sports team. If you wanted to up the bid to say 3, then you put your money where your mouth is. See, Dadcraft got it. So this is where I have not actually put any points into the system because the bidding bit, as far as a stream game goes, gets far too complex to bother tracking. I'm sure Terry Darts could probably figure something out if he puts his mind to it. But one of the other things to me that makes my stream family friendly is there's not a whole lot of betting. We can bet on guessing, say, the content of an egg or something. But I don't like having a whole lot of gambling-esque type games on here, simply because of the fact that I'm not a huge fan of gambling. You know, some people like it, some people don't. Okay, where was I? Oh, right, I was looking for Prismarine Shop. Yeah, I like how communal it is with everybody. And sort of what I will probably consider putting in is just tie it to the same timer that I use for Lego. It's 5 minutes for Lego. I came to see the shop because... Yeah, okay, there it is. So the basic one will do the shift. It just takes a long time to happen. That's cool, okay. You guys probably aren't really noticing this, but when I first came in, this bottom block was a very blue color. Now it's aiming more to a green that kind of matches the dark prismarine, but looks a bit off compared to the bottom, the floor. But then it's now shifting back. You can see it doesn't match the dark prismarine anymore. Right now it's much more of a blue tint. And I think there might be a pinky purplish tint there at some point. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So it is the basic block that I brought that will do what I'm looking for. Exactly. That's part of why I like it. That's part of why I like that Geek Out as a game. And I mean, frankly put, an awful lot of the people who watch the streams are players, right? Players of the game, or frankly put, they're very frequently nerds, right? We're all nerds and geeks in some format. to be honest, I think that the vast majority of people who watch Twitch in general are some format of nerd or geek. And that leaves us with opportunities for nerding and geeking out. And different people know different categories. By the time I get everything input here, we will have 3 complete sets in here. You guys have noticed we've got the pop culture set, and then we've got an original that's going in, and for some reason I started with pop culture, I'm not quite sure why. And then we've also got the Disney focused set. There is one other one, it's like the family, what is it here? Yeah, the family edition. And it's got categories, I've got an advertising card for it. It's got categories such as science and history, pop culture as a category, words and literature, art and music, and more miscellaneous. So eventually I may have them all in here, but I'm not going to hold off till I have them all. It's useful as it is. I will admit I'm surprised that it shifts so much towards the Disney focus, but it is. Okay, so my thought on this floor is the 4 sort of quote-unquote pedestal zones, at least to start with. We'll have the different types of armor. So like we'll have, say, helmets on this one, and chest plates on the next one, and so on and so forth, right? So that's my thought on this one. And then as far as tools go, there's 4 or 5 major tools, depending on how you look at it. I wasn't necessarily planning to include bows. I mean, it might be cheaper, but yeah, 4 or 5 major tools. And then people can always diagonally. So if Terror Darts was going to do anything, he'd go like with Hangman, where people just earned an individual score, but it doesn't really need it. Exactly. I mean, and there wouldn't be really any point in betting one's points. I mean, I could turn it into one of those ones like you see if you're watching Stormy Owl's stream. They're the one of the ones that play the heist game, you know, with mice and so on and so forth. Oops, wrong way. So you can't even go down the stairs in an MB Turner kind of way. Wow. Okay, so we've got, so I'm thinking 5 kinds of tools, because we've got swords, pickaxes, axes, shovels, and then often a hoe, or the garden tool. That's probably easiest to, and then I could balance it out with bows. So it'll be probably similar. And actually, if I reverse that and put the armor down here and the tools upstairs, that might make more sense, because then I can use the ends. Okay, so I heard it 3 times, which is kind of interesting. So the black card to start says, kids, Dad's trying something new this week. It's called blank. And Mary Bedford filled that in with, so it's coming out to, kids, Dad's trying something new this week. It's called Shut the Frost Door. Okay. New card says, at school, I'm just Mandy. But at summer camp, I'm blank Mandy.
Diagonally.
Hi. I'm Hi Mandy. Hey, pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you. That's a very interesting way to say hello the first time. I've never had that before. Nothing against it. I think it's kind of fun. Okay, what do we got? 1, 2, 3. Let's go 2 out from the wall because of the overhang. 1, 2, 3, and 2 out from the wall. 1. Oh, actually, maybe 1 out from the wall because stairs get in the way. 1, 2, 3. Move these ones back. Biggest fan is now Terrier Darts. Thank you very much, Terrier Darts. I appreciate that very much. I also appreciate the fact that you come back because you don't have to. Like, I recognize that you're never obligated to. I know at one point we had a gifted sub or whatever, and that had run out and such, but I'm still spoiled that you're coming. It's kind of cool. So as with most streams, things tend to start out Oddly enough, there is one beneath our feet. You can see it in the mini-map there. He's hanging out underground. So this section over here appears to be hollow. And thankfully the creepers generally don't get out. Me and my big mouth. Got him! And yes, Deadcraft, you did get me on that one, by the way. Because I didn't move, and I'm like, let's assess the armor, and no, we're fine. Okay, now let's move and see what the problem was. And looking around for the thing, so yeah, you got me good. Thank you very much for the sub, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. I'm not even sure I know what that's related to, but I'm going to just assume that that was, yeah, unintentional. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, okay. Hang on a sec here. M, settings. Minimaps. I'm trying to remember. I'll have to look up later. Yeah, I can't seem to find it. Okay. There is a spot where I can look up and make sure that it doesn't go into cave mode. But I guess that's not necessarily a horrible thing. I just don't see the point in looking underground all the time. Auto cave mode. There we go. I don't want it on the mini-map. Off. There we go. Yeah. Well, that was useful. I just turned it off, and it went anyways. Whatever. Anyway, okay, so, yeah, 4 sections, so this one will probably be the armor floor instead. And then if I go upstairs, then that'll be the tool floor, because then I've got the 4 armor zones here, armor zones, 4 gear zones here, and then I could put a 5th one on this level and a 6th one on the other end. Put these nice and far back. And I don't need to use the raised section. I'm an addict, Springer, you know that. Addicts do weird things. Uh-oh. One, two, three. Fine. I'm gonna just be that person. Oops. Consistency and all that, right? Am I a Delaclone? No, unfortunately. And the way I said that, it made me think of Adele. I was like, no. Nope. There's no automatic DC singing going on in the background. It's the fact that, Springer, I don't know if you caught it, just being busy with kids and all, that I will not be streaming this evening, so I felt no guilt about going long, quite long. Yeah, I think I like it better with the 3 blocks on the outside. Part of the reasoning is that they sort of have a fake effect of color themselves. 1, 2, 3. Not color, sorry, lighting. Even though they don't actually project light as far as I know. There we go. 2, 3. Counting with Delenn. There we go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 will be on this end. I didn't raise that one, did I? Didn't do that right. This one, and that one. There we go. And then I'll go up 1 on... Is it 1? Yes. Up 1 on this end. Oops. Do I have a center? I have a center. Yes. Okay, good. Alright. Boxes. That way, with the 6, I can throw in some basic bows. And have the infinity versus mending argument for the umpteenth time. Okay. Basic enough, but it works. It's not just a matter of filling them. On that side. And deciding, do I want to do the displays as, what do you call them? Signs or, oh, okay. Signs or item frames. And that's a lot of item frames. Mr. Fox is certainly trying to get me off the airwaves, but that's okay. Mr. Fox is probably getting hungry. And so we usually tend to have lunch about this time. But I think that's pretty good. We still need a name for it. A name for it and pricing and stuff, but I'm actually not unimpressed. Now, we need a bit more chain lighting to hang down and that sort of thing, so I can definitely up my game in that respect. But for the most part, I think I'm finally happy, and I actually am pleased with the fact that we went to the Nether and made it all the dark. I really didn't like that other stuff. So much for texturing. Dylan's not very good at texturing and has grown to not like texturing in some places. So I think we're going to go with that. We'll see. Let's get this way. Yay! A lot of noise going on underground. I really should just go figure out what the heck that is and light it up, but, you know, we're there. So, let's see who's live at the moment that is playing Minecraft. That's my big criteria. Yeah, there's a few folks running. Ooh, gee. Highly recommend someone who just went live, who happens to be named Terrier Darts. They're doing a short stream to fix point stuffs, so they're working on the behind-the-scenes material. I know that's not normally this crew's cup of tea, so I probably won't raid there today. However, just wanted to give him that extra special shout-out. Thank you, Mama Bear. I enjoyed your company very much. Let's see. We have... You know what? I think we're going to go over to... Oh, I'm trying to decide. Nobody's on a server I recognize right now. That's part of the problem. I think we're going to go hang out with Gutty. He's been up for just over an hour, and he's doing the one-shot SMP. What does it say he's up to? Come say hi in chat. Yeah, so hardcore, chilled, let's play stuff in that. So we're going to head over and see Gutty. Let's see. We should go live right now, too. Then shout rude things when Dell doesn't raid me. Wow! If you were playing Minecraft, I would raid you. But Terrier Darts and I have had a conversation that he won't be playing Minecraft. And right now he's working on behind-the-scenes stuff, which often bends people's brains more than watching modded. So that's why I didn't. But that'll probably be my background, to be honest with it. Yeah, big thank you to Terrier Darts for awesome games in the stream. He's behind... the Geek Out is one that I came up with. That's why we play it a lot. He is definitely the one behind the Hangman. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else of his I've snagged. There's probably a few other things that I've snagged that are functional as opposed to games. But yeah, that's where we start. So yeah, please do consider giving him a like and a follow. I'm just going to give a manual shout out here. And there could be a duplication because, you know, Twitch be twitchy that way. Okay, so please do consider giving him a follow. We've got the other type that was saying what he was up to. And in the meantime, we're going to head ourselves out towards Gutty. So feel free to grab... Double shout out, exactly. Different types, though. So feel free to grab, once we get going, any of the raid emotes. There's always a Discord. You know how that drill goes. If you have any feedback or things you'd like to see, please do let me know.
Mischief managed.
I don't know how much mischief I managed. There's plenty that tried to manage me. But I want to say thank you to everybody for coming by. I will be back at noon Eastern-ish on Thursday. That is, you're seeing 10 a.m. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, that's not correct. Please disregard the announcement in the stream, because that is not when we're going to be back next. We'll be back tomorrow noon-ish Eastern. So hope everybody has themselves a great evening. Thank you very much to our moderation team. Thank you very, very much to our moderation team, including Benson and Fox. Thanks very much to our subscribers for chatting, from Springer Shadow to Max Money, Mama Bear, Poodle Pirate, Yellow, there's the double for Terrier Darts, ITT Tom, Mr. Poppins, Crease78, Wolfen, Huge Stormy Owl, Snarl, Gary, Dadcraft, and Mary Bedford. I'm missing something here. Missing something lots. Oh, and thank you ever so much to ITT Tom for the massive raid. I'm spoiled by those, and I hope everybody is having a good time. So, that said, if you need them, go ahead and grab the raid emotes wherever they went to, and we should be able to head over. Have yourselves a great time, and bye-bye for now.